So if you guys tuned into my channel last week, you saw that I got 4 different Parfums De Marly fragrances by Hamzat, one of my subscribers. I am doing a 2-part video. The one I did last week was Hobdon and Carlisle. And in the one today, I'm going to be reviewing 2 exclusive Parfums De Marlys. As you guys know, my Nordstrom's doesn't carry any of them, so I have not smelled any of the exclusives. The one in this video I'm going to be reviewing is PEGASUS Exclusive and Layton Exclusive. So without further ado, let's get it. Alright, welcome back my dudes. This is Randy, aka Fragrance Dude, back with another fragrance video. As you can tell, I'm getting ready for work, and my background, I didn't have time to set it up, so the Halloween decorations and a few bottles should do for this week. Again, Hamzat, you guys need to thank him in the comments. Without him, this video wouldn't be possible. He sent me the 4 decants, the 2 I reviewed last week, Carlisle and Hobdon, and the ones today, PEGASUS Exclusive and Layton Exclusive. Before I get into the video, if you could like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't, as well as hit the bell and share, and follow me on Instagram and TikTok if you haven't already, if you like my content. So again, these 2, the exclusives, I haven't tried any of the exclusives. As you guys know, my Nordstrom's doesn't carry it. I'm really interested to try these. I did try Layton Exclusive once, so I will let you know what I get from that as far as the performance and stuff from the first wear. I love Layton. I love Hobdon. I love Harad. I love Ojan. I like PEGASUS. I do like the smell, love the smell of PEGASUS, but it's a very situational fragrance where you can only wear it when it's like really formal or like a wedding or a funeral or something like that. It's very selective, and so that's why I don't own a full bottle of it, and I probably will never. So I'm hoping to get something different from this one. But with that said, I'm not going to ramble anymore. I'm going to get straight into it here with Layton Exclusive. I'll spray it on the tester while I give you guys the main notes. So again, this is Layton Exclusive. I'll put the bottle over there. The main notes you get in that are almond, oud, gaiac wood, and oak moss. So it's a woody, spicy fragrance, and it also has a bit of sweetness in there. As far as that, I will spray it again one more time because I missed the strip. So I was expecting, I did hear some things about this, about it not being as good as the original Layton, and I was expecting, because it's a Layton exclusive, that it was kind of going to be like how you have like designer fragrances that have the Eau de Toilette, then the Eau de Parfum, that's a little bit different but still has that DNA. I thought that it would be like that, and for a little bit it does have, especially here in the opening, you do get a little bit of that Layton DNA in the background. But for the most part, it is just like it says in the description. It is a woodier, spicier fragrance. It has oud in there, so, and I do have to say, it doesn't really come off as like a funky or animalic or fecal type oud. It really just comes across as like a woodiness, and it's a heavy woodiness. That gaiac wood and the oud really come straight forward, and the way that it works is that it almost has a little bit of the almond from PEGASUS creeping in there, mixing with the Layton DNA, that sweetness, and that's really in the background. And then you get those woody notes that you get in the dry down of the original Layton, and they're full force right there in the opening with a lot of spice. This is a beast mode fragrance through and through. It lasts about 10 hours, so just get that out of the way. It's really not difficult to describe this fragrance. So picture Layton and the entire first Layton. So you get the apple, you get that sweetness, you get that amber, you get that aromatics, you get the vanilla. Take all of that and just the smell of Layton and just put it in the background and take it from a 10 to a 2, and then the rest of the fragrance, make it woody and spicy, and that is what you get from this. As you work your way further into the base, you do get some oak moss pulling in there, but it never really comes across fully mossy like you would get in like Sauvage or something like that. But the fragrance is nice. I can't actually say whether or not I like this fragrance or not. When I wore it the first time, my wife didn't like it at all. My daughter didn't like it at all. I was like, meh, it's okay. There's some points in time when you smell this and you're like, oh, that's Layton. Yeah, I can smell Layton in the background. But I don't like the overly woody, masculine woodiness that comes through over top of it, and it never, and I keep waiting and waiting and waiting for that to dissipate, and it really doesn't, because you have that woodiness and the woodiness stays there, and then it actually comes forward even more, because in the opening you get the Layton underneath with a bunch of the Gaiac wood and oud, and then all of a sudden it's like you're hoping that the Layton part's going to start rising up, and it never really does. If anything, it dissipates more. It stays there for probably 4 or 5 hours, and then it just becomes a woody scent that has a little bit of sweetness in the background, and that is pretty much it. Again, there's some spice in here, and at times I like the fragrance a lot. When you smell it, you're just like, yeah, there's a little bit of Layton in there. I like that a lot. But then at other times you smell it and you're just like, yeah, that's just a woody mess. But overall, I do have to say, just based on my first, again, this is my second time smelling it, and I'm smelling it on a tester strip right now. I'd have to give this fragrance probably a 7.5. It's not terrible at all. I think it's still a good fragrance. I think if they dialed down those woody notes just a bit and still had it be a more woody version on the Layton DNA, that it probably would have been a better fragrance overall, and probably would have got an 8.5 or a 9, and I would have loved it. But I'm probably not going to end up buying a bottle of this unless for some reason it just miraculously changes on me. I think that those woods, those ouds, those Gaiac woods just really are a bit too powerful for me in this fragrance, and I think I've heard that from some of my subscribers before. At one point in time, about like hour into the fragrance, like I said, it doesn't really feel fully animalic, but at some points in the fragrance, you do get a little bit of this funkiness that seems a bit animalic, but then it dissipates. So just to give you that forewarning as well. The almond's nice. It's a nice little addition, but it's really far in the background that you can't really tell. Again, it does provide some sweetness. I'm not going to get too much more into it. If you just want me to describe the fragrance very simply, it is if you took Layton, add a little bit of an almond sweetness into it, like a little bit of a powderiness, dialed that DNA all the way to the background, put some heavy woods right up front and some oak moss in the base. As you get to the base, you get those woods even dialing out further, and then you get a little bit of a sweetness in the base, and that is pretty much it. It's a nice fragrance, not a love for me. All right, so now getting into the second one here, since I didn't want to go forever on the Layton exclusive. This is the one that I haven't tried. It is PEGASUS EXCLUSIF. Actually really excited to try this one. It's advertised as a woody almond vanilla fragrance. So again, woods. I guess maybe the exclusives are more of like the woody line. Let me have that dry down for a second and let me give you the notes. So the notes for PEGASUS EXCLUSIF are almond, cardamom, heliotrope, vanilla, and Gaiac wood. Okay. So in the opening, it smells like Pegasus. This is a lot closer to the original than the Layton exclusive is. It's a little bit less sweet, at least here in the opening. I don't know if it's going to sweeten up at all. It's a little bit fresher. It smells like there's a little bit of like a bergamot in there or something, giving it like a little bit of like a freshness, not really citrusy, but a little bit more fresh. It seems like it's still one of those situational fragrances for sure, because it still has that Pegasus DNA, that almond. There's some fresh spiciness in here from the cardamom for sure. That heliotrope is there, but it is way dialed back, which I actually kind of like, because the heliotrope in the original almost gives off this cooling feeling, which I told you guys in my original video for Pegasus. I wasn't quite sure how I felt about that, but here it's actually quite nice because it's dialed back a lot. Yeah, this is actually quite good. Let me give it about 15 minutes, and then I'm going to let you guys know if I get anything different in the dry down, so I'll be right back. Alright, so I have had it on for 15 minutes. I sprayed it on my wrist because I wanted to see what I got from my skin as well, and I do have to let you know I do like this better than the original Pegasus. This one comes off a bit darker. It actually comes off a lot smoother than the original. It is less sweet, but with that said, it is overall better to my nose at least. As far as going into the dry down here at 15 minutes, so that bergamot or whatever kind of citrusy freshness was in there has dissipated, and it's closer to the realm of what Pegasus was as far as the freshness is concerned. With that said, it did get a little bit more woody here and a little bit less sweet than it was in the opening. And with that said, you also do get some like spiciness in there and a little bit of vanilla. So the vanilla comes in, and I noticed it at about 5 or 6 minutes. The vanilla started to creep in, and I was like, is there vanilla in this fragrance? And then I had to check the notes, and there is. It gives off just a little bit of a creamy sweetness mixing with that powdery almond. It's actually quite nice. I do like almond with creamy vanillas. It does good in the L'HOMME EDP line as well with that, and I do like that. So with that said, as far as where I'm at now, when you first spray the fragrance on, it was that fresh, slightly citrus, almond freshness with some heliotrope. Right now, it still has that almond, it has that sweetness, and then it also does have this like woody vanilla spice. So it seems like what's happening is that it's going into more of like a sweet, woody, spicy base, and that's probably what the fragrance is going to be, with that almond dissipating into the background. I'm glad that they didn't go too heavy on the woods here, but with that said, just in my personal opinion, I just would not wear this in any situation outside of what I mentioned before. For the original Pegasus, it must just be that type of DNA. This one might be a little bit more versatile, but with that said, I just probably still won't buy it. If you do like the original Pegasus, I would definitely recommend trying this out. As far as the Layton exclusive, I would say that if you like the original Layton and you really like woody, heavy wood fragrances, definitely give a shot. I think that it might be something that you might love, but you have to really like woods to like, and I mean like the heavy woods, in order to like Layton exclusive, because then you get that Layton DNA in the background. Pegasus is kind of just a smoother, more refined, less sweet, darker version of the original with like a woods and vanilla spice base, at least from what I'm getting my nose on. I'll update you guys on my live, or maybe do a full video on them at some point in time and let you guys know what I fully get. But with that said, let me know in the comments if you've tried any of these, the Layton exclusive or the Pegasus exclusive. In comparison to the originals, I would just say I'm not shocked by the Pegasus exclusive. I thought that's what they were going to do with all of them, and I was really looking forward to the Layton exclusive, but as soon as I smelled it, I was like, this is not what I was hoping for. Overall, I would still stick with the original Layton if I was you. If you like the original Layton, if you like sweeter fragrances, you won't probably like the Layton exclusive. And if you weren't a huge fan of Pegasus, or you're like me and you don't think it's able to be worn in certain situations, Pegasus exclusive, while it's better, is still going to give you that same feeling. But yeah, again, let me know if you've tried these, what you guys think, if you agree or disagree with me. I don't know the projection or longevity on the Pegasus, but again, on the Layton, it's a beast mode. I mean, it's well above average for the first 4 or 5 hours, and it lasted about 10 plus hours on my skin. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Again, my name is Randy, aka Fragrance Dude. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll be back with another one. Peace.